This month, we are focusing on adaptive switches and switch-enabled devices. Enabling Devices, a company that manufactures and sells a variety of adaptive switches and switch-enabled devices, defines adaptive switches as an access device that allows people with movement-limiting disabilities to use technology and operate electronic devices. Adaptive switches can be utilized in a variety of ways, such as controlling iPads, Chromebooks, an input method for AAC devices, manipulating household appliances, and activating a variety of games and toys during leisure time. Here at the DCIU, we offer a variety of adaptive switches and switch-enabled devices. Today, we will show you how to connect switches to increase student engagement with content on a Chromebook. All right, today we're going to take a look at a couple of devices that sort of work together to allow students access to content on a device like a Chromebook. So we want to take a look today at the Switch wireless interface. So this device is excellent for connecting to a USB port on, let's say, a Chromebook, for example, or a PC. And essentially what it does is it overlays some of the buttons that may already exist but are inaccessible to a student who may have motor limitations when accessing a computer. So once that's connected, you simply select the overlay that you'd like to go with. Today we're going to do a back and forth. This is the wireless receiver. Again, these work well with radio frequencies, so you don't have to worry about things blocking the signal, so the student always has a reliable connection. Finally, we have some 3.5 millimeter cables, and what those do, those are sort of universal connections for switches. So we're going to connect those to the corresponding button overlays. And then finally, we have a 3-button mid-tech speech output device, which we've sort of labeled here with a back and next to correspond with the activity. So when we connect this, a student can press next and it will take them to the next page. Same thing with the back button. What's nice about this too is that as a mid-tech device, you could record your voice, turn down the volume on the story, and the student would be able to hear that core vocabulary word expressed. Other adults in the room or other students would be able to hear it as well. But again, we want to really reinforce the idea of core vocabulary, not just for the student's vocal output or communication, but also because it pairs nicely with the activity and it really reinforces what that student is accessing at that time. All right, so the first activity we want to highlight with Switch Access is a website called TarHeel Reader. We did focus on this in our previous video as a way to create simple books for students to access. And I believe we did mention that this website is already Switch enabled or accessible. So now that we have our device connected and we have everything routed to the computer, what we can do is simply press our designated next button and it will turn the page, and then the voice, if you... all around. There you go. If you have the voice, the volume turned up, you'll hear the person reading to you. Turn again.
There are signs all around us. They tell us many things.
Now let's say, for example, the student would like to go back in the story, or we're focusing on that core vocabulary and building that vocabulary for the word back. We've already got the button labeled and it should take us back in the story. So again, this is a great way to encourage core vocabulary with students, as well as just make any types of books or activities on a computer more accessible. All right, for the next activity, we've actually changed up our button overlay because the website that we are now utilizing requires different keyboard inputs, so we have to reflect that with our Switch layout. We also have an opportunity now to practice some different core vocabulary words. So we moved from back and next to now turn to turn the page, and listen to be able to activate and listen to the text-to-speech feature of the website. So let's go ahead and try it. We're going to turn the page and listen.
Joey loves elephants.
Let's turn the page and listen.
He visits the elephant sanctuary.
So again, another great idea to be able to build in core vocabulary across multiple activities in the student's classroom routine. All right, the last activity we're going to take a look at today is L3 skills inside of Unique Learning System. So this is a great opportunity for students to engage with a more of a fun, leisurely activity. It's a single switch game. There are many on here. And what we've done is done a new device overlay or a new button overlay where we're now utilizing the space bar, which on the keyboard would activate this single switch for the game. So what we've done is essentially bypass that with a switch. And if you'll notice, I've swapped out one more time to include a different device with the core vocabulary word go. So we're focusing on that student learning. When I say go, when I press go, it will activate and the marble will go. So just a nice, fun way to, sort of incorporate that core vocabulary in another context. So let's go ahead without further ado. There you go. All right, so one final resource I'd like to share today is the AbleNet Symbol Overlay Maker. This is a free application that is able to be installed on an iPad. It does not have a desktop or a laptop application at this time, so you do need to have an iPad available. And then once you've created any type of content within this application, it's simple enough to just export to an email or to Google to be able to print out in color. So the way it works is you have three choices. You can do a new symbol overlay, open one you've been working on, or copy an existing overlay as well if you'd like to keep consistent with the device but change some of the words vocabulary that you've want to incorporate into the student's day. So if we go ahead and click Create New Symbol Overlay, you'll notice here that you can give it a name, and then there are plenty of different device overlays that you're able to populate with symbols specific to the student to go ahead and print. There is some minor editing. You can take away the words, you can add words, you can make them larger, smaller, you can do different contrast. And the nice thing about this too is that it incorporates the symbol sticks symbol library free of charge. So you have access to all of the symbol sticks libraries, as well as web-based pictures, and you can upload pictures from the device itself. So again, let's say there's something that's very reinforcing for the student, or maybe somebody they like to see in their day and would like to communicate with. You're able to go around with the iPad, take pictures of real things in the real world, and you can populate these device overlays to print out and utilize with the student. So again, free application, any iPad can get the application, and it just makes your work so much easier when it comes time to program devices.